Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you, that ye should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever ye shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you. John chapter 15, verse 16. Have you ever wondered what it means to be chosen by God? What if I told you that being chosen has nothing to do with favoritism and everything to do with alignment with divine purpose? There's a profound statement from the mystic Meister Eckhart that says, "The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love." This isn't just beautiful poetry. It reveals the intimate connection between the divine and those who are called to higher purpose. You've felt it, haven't you? That deep stirring in your soul. That sense that you're meant for something greater. That feeling that won't let you settle for an ordinary life, no matter how comfortable it might be. You've experienced moments where you felt connected to something beyond yourself. Brief glimpses of your true potential that left you wondering why you can't maintain that state of divine communion. And here's what most spiritual seekers never realize. The path of the chosen is not about perfection. It's about progression. It's about allowing yourself to be transformed through a divine process that most never fully understand. That's why today we're diving deep into the 7 divine secrets of how God chooses the chosen ones, the spiritual principles that determine who carries divine purpose and who simply carries religious routine. And the final secret? It's what separates those who are merely called from those who fulfill their divine destiny. If this message is already resonating with your spirit, type "chosen" in the comments below. Let's create a gathering of souls who recognize their divine calling. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end. The most profound secret, the one that brings everything into divine alignment, is also the one most spiritual seekers miss completely. It's what made angels fall and prophets rise. It's the divine key that unlocks your spiritual authority. Divine secret number 7, the call to the heart. Our journey begins with divine secret 7, the call to the heart. This is where it all starts. Not with an audible voice from heaven, not with dramatic signs and wonders, but with a gentle stirring in the depths of your being. The call to the heart is God's first whisper to your soul, inviting you into a deeper connection with the divine. Have you ever felt a sudden, inexplicable longing for something more? A feeling that there's a greater purpose waiting for you? That's the divine call echoing in your heart. It doesn't announce itself with trumpets or lightning. Instead, it arrives as a quiet but persistent knowing that won't let you settle for spiritual mediocrity. What makes this call so powerful and so easy to miss is how deeply personal it is. God doesn't call the masses, He calls individuals. He speaks directly to your unique spiritual DNA, to the very essence of who you were created to be. This call often appears in one of 2 moments, either during times of profound joy, when your heart is most open, or during seasons of intense suffering, when your defenses are stripped away. It's in these raw, authentic moments that your soul becomes receptive to divine invitation. You're not alone if you've ignored this call. Many hear it but dismiss it as imagination, doubt, or simply the pressure of daily life. But for the chosen ones, this call persists. It grows stronger, more insistent, until acknowledging it becomes inevitable. The response to this call is where free will meets divine purpose. God invites but never forces. The choice to answer, to step into the unknown, is entirely yours. It requires courage to say yes to a path that isn't clearly mapped out, faith to believe in what you cannot yet see. Think of Moses at the burning bush, initially resisting his calling with excuses and fear. Or consider Mary, who despite the social risk, answered the angel's announcement with, "Let it be unto me, according to your word." In each case, the chosen one faced a moment of decision, to embrace or reject the divine invitation. When you respond to the call, something extraordinary happens. The universe begins to conspire in your favor. Doors open, doors that were previously closed. Divine connections form. Synchronicities multiply. Not because the path becomes easier, but because you're now aligned with your spiritual purpose. This call is not about religious achievement or spiritual status. It's about relationship, a deeper, more intimate connection with the divine. It's God saying, I see you, I know you, and I'm inviting you into something greater. But the call is just the beginning. Once you respond, something remarkable begins to awaken within you. Divine secret number 6, the awakening of spiritual gifts. As we move deeper into our exploration, we discover divine secret number 6, the awakening of spiritual gifts. When you respond to the divine call, dormant abilities within your soul begin to stir. These aren't just natural talents or learned skills. They're divine endowments, spiritual capacities that transcend ordinary human capabilities. The chosen ones often discover they possess unique spiritual gifts, abilities that align perfectly with their divine mission. Some find they have the gift of healing, channeling divine energy that brings restoration to body, mind, or spirit. Others develop prophetic insight, receiving divine wisdom about future events or hidden truths. Still others are given discernment, the ability to perceive beyond surface reality into the spiritual essence of situations and people. What's fascinating about these gifts is that they're not new. They've been woven into your spiritual DNA from the beginning. They've been waiting for the right conditions to emerge, like seeds requiring the proper soil, water, and light to sprout. The call to the heart creates those conditions, preparing the soul to receive and express these divine abilities. The awakening of spiritual gifts often comes as a surprise, even to the chosen ones themselves. You might suddenly find yourself aware of energies, insights, or abilities you never knew you possessed. Words of wisdom flow through you that you know didn't originate in your own mind. Your prayers carry a power that produces tangible results. Your presence brings peace to chaotic situations without you saying a word. This can be both exhilarating and disorienting as you adjust to this expanded awareness. It's like being given access to a new dimension of reality that most people never experience. But here's what separates the truly chosen from the merely gifted: understanding the purpose behind the gifts. These abilities are never bestowed for personal glory or gain. They're not spiritual trophies to display or powers to wield for selfish advantage. They are divine tools given in trust, meant to serve a greater purpose. Think of Joseph, whose gift of dream interpretation wasn't for his own benefit, but to save nations from famine. Consider Esther, whose political influence wasn't for personal power, but to preserve her people from destruction. In each case, the gift served a purpose far beyond the individual. The development of these gifts requires patience, practice, and humility. Like any ability, they need to be refined through consistent use. They often grow through challenges that stretch their capacity, and they flourish best in an atmosphere of reverence, recognizing their divine source. But spiritual gifts, powerful as they are, cannot fully manifest until something else develops within you, an ability that guides and directs how these gifts are used. Divine secret number 5, the power of intuition and inner guidance. As we continue our journey, we uncover divine secret number 5, the power of intuition and inner guidance. For the chosen ones, intuition is more than just a feeling or a hunch. It's a divine communication system, a direct line between your soul and the Creator. It's how God speaks to you beyond words, beyond thoughts, in the language of pure knowing. This inner guidance manifests in various ways, through gut feelings that defy logical explanation, through dreams that carry symbolic messages, through synchronicities that seem too meaningful to be mere coincidence. It's the still, small voice that speaks when external noise subsides. What makes intuition such a powerful force for the chosen ones is that it transcends the limitations of the rational mind. Your intellect, valuable as it is, can only process what it already knows or can reason through. But intuition connects you to divine wisdom, allowing you to access information and understanding that goes beyond your personal experience or knowledge. Think of Daniel, whose intuitive insights allowed him to interpret dreams that baffled the wisest counselors in Babylon. Or consider Paul, whose inner guidance led him to establish churches in strategic locations throughout the ancient world, creating networks that would sustain Christianity for generations. The challenge, of course, is learning to trust this inner voice in a world that prizes external validation and logical proof. Society teaches us to doubt our intuition, to seek evidence and expert opinions, rather than trusting our inner knowing. This conditioning can make it difficult for the chosen ones to honor their intuitive guidance, especially when it contradicts conventional wisdom. That's why developing discernment becomes essential. Not every inner voice is divine guidance. The ego speaks too, often loudly, driven by fear, desire, or insecurity. Learning to distinguish between ego and intuition is a crucial skill for the chosen ones. The ego's voice is typically urgent, demanding, and fear-based. Divine intuition, by contrast, is calm, peaceful, and accompanied by a sense of rightness, even when the guidance itself may be challenging. Strengthening your intuition requires creating space for stillness. Through practices like meditation, prayer, and mindfulness, you quiet the mental chatter that drowns out the subtle voice of intuition. These practices aren't just spiritual disciplines. They're practical tools for attuning yourself to divine guidance. As you learn to trust and follow your intuition, you'll find yourself guided to the right people, the right opportunities, and the right decisions at precisely the right moments. Doors will open that you didn't even know existed. Connections will form that seem divinely orchestrated. Your path will unfold with a sense of flow and synchronicity that defies logical planning. But intuition, powerful as it is, cannot guide you effectively until something deep within you is addressed. For the chosen ones to truly step into their calling, something must be removed from their spiritual system. Divine secret number 4. The purification process. We now arrive at divine secret number 4, the purification process. Perhaps the most challenging yet transformative secret on our journey. The purification process is not about moral perfection or religious rule following. It's a profound spiritual refinement that prepares your soul to carry divine purpose. Think of it as spiritual alchemy, the transformation of base elements into something precious and rare. For the chosen ones, purification is inevitable and essential. Divine light cannot fully shine through clouded glass. Divine love cannot flow freely through a heart constricted by fear, resentment, or attachment. Divine wisdom cannot speak clearly through a mind cluttered with false beliefs and limiting mindsets. The purification process addresses these blockages, not by condemning them, but by bringing them into the light of awareness where they can be transformed. This process is rarely comfortable. It often involves facing your deepest fears, confronting painful wounds, and releasing cherished illusions. You might find yourself going through periods of intense introspection where shadows you've kept hidden, even from yourself, suddenly demand your attention. Relationships that once seemed essential may fall away. Beliefs and identities you've built your life around may be called into question. Values and priorities may undergo radical reorganization. This isn't punishment, it's preparation. The divine is not rejecting you through this process, but reshaping you for greater purpose. Think of a surgeon who must cut in order to heal, or a sculptor who must chisel away excess stone to reveal the masterpiece within. The trials and challenges that facilitate purification aren't random hardships. They're precisely calibrated experiences designed to address specific areas that need transformation. A difficult relationship might be teaching you unconditional love. Financial challenges might be developing your trust and surrender. Health issues might be redirecting your focus from external achievement to inner growth. One of the most essential aspects of purification is the practice of letting go. The chosen ones must learn to release whatever no longer serves their highest purpose, whether it's outdated beliefs, toxic relationships, unhealthy habits, or even positive things that simply belong to a previous season. This letting go creates space for new growth, new experiences, new dimensions of being. Consider Joseph, who had to endure slavery and imprisonment, a profound purification process that stripped away entitlement and developed humility before he could step into his leadership role. Or think of David, whose years in the wilderness prepared him for kingship in ways that no palace education could have. As purification progresses, you'll experience greater clarity, deeper peace, and stronger alignment with divine purpose. You'll become more discerning, more authentic, more fully present. The voice of intuition will strengthen as the noise of ego diminishes. Your spiritual gifts will flow more purely as the blockages that constrain them are removed. But purification isn't just about removing the negative. It's about creating space for the positive, for greater love, wisdom, and power to flow through you. And this brings us to a profound choice that determines your spiritual path. Divine secret number 3, the role of destiny and free will. As our exploration deepens, we uncover divine secret number 3, the role of destiny and free will, the divine paradox at the heart of every chosen one's journey. This secret addresses one of the most profound spiritual mysteries. How can we have a predetermined purpose yet maintain freedom of choice? How can our lives be divinely orchestrated yet still require our active participation? The answer lies in understanding the delicate dance between destiny and free will. Destiny, in the spiritual sense, is the divine blueprint for your life, the overarching purpose and path for which your soul was created. It's not a rigid script dictating every detail, but rather a framework, a river with banks that guide the flow while allowing movement within them. This destiny is woven into your spiritual DNA, calling you towards certain experiences, relationships, and contributions that align with your highest purpose. Free will, by contrast, is your God-given ability to make choices within that framework. It's the power to say yes or no to divine invitations, to choose how you respond to life circumstances, to determine the pace and intensity of your spiritual journey. The chosen ones live at the intersection of these two forces. Their lives are divinely guided yet personally shaped. They are simultaneously following a cosmic plan and creating their own path. This paradox creates a fascinating spiritual dynamic. Each decision the chosen ones make either aligns them more deeply with their divine purpose or temporarily diverts them from it. When alignment occurs, there's a sense of flow, synchronicity, and rightness. When diversion happens, various forms of feedback, inner discomfort, external obstacles, loss of peace, guide them back toward their true path. One of the greatest challenges for the chosen ones is discerning between the voice of destiny and the voice of ego. The ego often seeks comfort, security, and recognition, desires that can pull you away from your divine path. Destiny, on the other hand, calls you toward growth, service, and transformation, even when these require sacrifice or stepping into the unknown. Think of Jonah, who initially fled from his prophetic assignment, only to find that destiny pursued him even into the depths of the sea. Or consider Paul, who embraced his calling with such conviction that he wrote, "Woe to me if I do not preach the gospel." Both experience the tension between personal desire and divine purpose. The chosen ones must learn to make choices from a place of spiritual alignment rather than ego-driven fear or desire. This requires developing discernment, the ability to distinguish between the gentle pull of divine guidance and the push of personal agenda. This discernment deepens through various spiritual tests, moments of decision that strengthen your commitment to divine purpose. Will you choose comfort or calling, security or service, the familiar or the faithful? Each choice is an opportunity to exercise your free will in alignment with your higher destiny. What makes this process so powerful is that it's collaborative. The divine doesn't force you onto a predetermined path, but invites your creative participation in shaping it. Your choices, your responses, your unique expression all contribute to how your destiny unfolds. You're not a passive player in a cosmic drama, but an active co-creator of your spiritual journey. As you learn to balance destiny and free will, you develop a profound spiritual maturity. The ability to surrender to divine timing while taking inspired action, to trust in the bigger picture while attending to present details, to hold your vision firmly while remaining flexible about the path. But even with gifts awakened and choices aligned, the chosen ones must embrace a truth that challenges their very nature. This brings us to our next divine secret. Divine secret number 2, the power of service and selflessness. We now approach one of the most transformative secrets. Divine secret number 2, the power of service and selflessness. For the chosen ones, service is not just something they do, it's who they are. It's not an obligation but an orientation, a fundamental shift from self-centered to other-centered living. This shift represents one of the most powerful spiritual transformations possible. True service emerges naturally when you recognize a profound truth. Your gifts, your insights, your very presence are not for your benefit alone. They're entrusted to you for the upliftment of others, for the healing of the world, for the manifestation of divine love in tangible form. The chosen ones understand that they are channels, not sources, vessels through which divine energy flows to bless, heal, transform, and illuminate. Their role is not to generate this energy, but to remove the blockages that prevent its free flow, to position themselves in alignment with divine purpose so that greater power can work through them. This understanding liberates them from the exhaustion of ego-driven achievement. They no longer need to prove their worth through spiritual performance or religious accomplishment. Instead, they find profound fulfillment in being available, responsive, and transparent to divine intention. One of the most powerful forms of service is simply presence, the ability to be fully present with others without agenda, judgment, or the need to fix or change them. This quality of presence creates sacred space where healing naturally occurs, where truth can emerge, where divine connection can be experienced. Think of Mother Teresa, whose simple presence in the slums of Calcutta brought dignity to the dying. Or consider Jesus, whose presence was so transformative that people would touch the hem of his garment to be healed. This is the power of presence. Not doing, but being in such alignment with divine love that your very existence becomes a blessing. Selflessness doesn't mean neglecting your own needs or diminishing your own worth. Quite the opposite. It comes from a place of spiritual abundance, from knowing that you are so filled with divine love that it naturally overflows to others. It's not about emptying yourself, but about allowing yourself to be a channel for something greater. As you embrace service as a way of being, you discover one of the great spiritual paradoxes. The more you give, the more you receive. Not in material terms necessarily, but in spiritual abundance, in joy, peace, fulfillment, and an ever-deepening connection to the divine. This abundance isn't something you pursue directly. It's the natural byproduct of living in alignment with your highest purpose. Service also has a purifying effect on the soul. As you focus on meeting the needs of others, the grip of ego naturally loosens. Petty concerns and selfish motives fade in importance. Compassion expands. Judgment diminishes. Your perspective broadens to embrace a greater vision of human potential and divine possibility. The chosen ones find that service connects them more deeply to the web of life, to the interconnectedness of all beings. They begin to see themselves not as isolated individuals, but as integral parts of a greater whole, with unique contributions to make to the collective evolution of consciousness. This shift in orientation, from what can I get to what can I give, represents a quantum leap in spiritual development. It aligns you with the fundamental nature of the divine, which is ever-giving, ever-creating, ever-sustaining. But service, profound as it is, must be guided by the most essential secret of all, the one that brings everything into perfect alignment. This brings us to our final and most powerful divine secret. Divine secret number 1, the mystery of divine timing. We've arrived at the most profound revelation on our journey. Divine secret number 1, the mystery of divine timing. This final secret is what separates those who are merely called from those who fulfill their divine purpose. It's the master key that unlocks all other spiritual principles. It's the divine orchestration that brings everything into perfect harmony. Divine timing is not about clock time or calendar days. It's about cosmic alignment, the convergence of the right circumstances, the right spiritual readiness, and the right collective need. It's the sacred moment when heaven and earth align to create the perfect conditions for divine purpose to manifest. For the chosen ones, understanding and surrendering to divine timing is perhaps the greatest spiritual challenge and the most liberating practice. It requires releasing our human need for control, our impatience for results, our attachment to how and when things should unfold. The natural human tendency is to push, to force, to make things happen according to our timeline. We want our calling to manifest now. We want our gifts to be recognized immediately. We want our purpose to unfold according to our schedule. But divine timing operates according to a wisdom that transcends our limited perspective. Think of a fruit tree. No amount of pulling or tugging will make the fruit ripen faster. It requires the right season, the right conditions, the right process of natural development. Attempting to harvest before ripeness only results in bitter fruit. The same principle applies to spiritual calling. It unfolds according to its own divine timetable, not according to our impatience or ambition. The chosen ones learn to trust this process, to align with it rather than fight against it. They understand that what appears as delay is often divine preparation. What seems like a detour is frequently the most direct path to their true destination. What feels like waiting is actually a vital period of ripening, where essential qualities are developed that will be needed for the fulfillment of their purpose. Consider Abraham, who waited decades for the promised son who would establish his lineage. Or Joseph, who spent years in prison before his prophetic gifting was recognized. Or Jesus himself, who spent 30 years in preparation for a 3-year ministry. In each case, the waiting wasn't empty time. It was filled with essential development that made the eventual fulfillment possible. Divine timing also ensures that your purpose aligns with collective need. Your gifts, insights, and contributions are often calibrated to address specific situations or challenges in the world. The timing of your emergence is synchronized with when those gifts are most needed, when the soil is most receptive to the seeds you're meant to plant. Trusting divine timing doesn't mean passive waiting. It means active preparation, developing your gifts, purifying your intentions, deepening your spiritual foundation. It means remaining alert and responsive to divine guidance, ready to move when the time is right. It means cultivating patience, not as resignation, but as confident anticipation. The chosen ones develop an intuitive sense for divine timing, knowing when to act and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to step forward and when to step back. This sense doesn't come from external signs alone, but from deep inner attunement to the rhythm of divine unfolding. When your actions align with divine timing, you experience a remarkable shift. Effort gives way to grace. Striving is replaced by flow. Doors open with surprising ease. Resources appear at just the right moment. Divine synchronicities multiply. What would have required enormous effort at the wrong time unfolds with natural momentum at the right time. This is the ultimate spiritual paradox, that surrender leads to empowerment, that releasing control creates greater impact, that divine timing produces more significant results than human forcing ever could. As you embrace divine timing, you enter into the deepest form of co-creation with the divine, a partnership where your readiness meets divine orchestration, where your faithful preparation encounters perfect opportunity, where your unique contribution finds its place in the cosmic unfolding of divine purpose. As we complete our exploration of the 7 divine secrets, we recognize that they aren't separate principles, but an interconnected spiritual ecosystem. Each secret flows into and enhances the others, creating a holistic path of spiritual development for the chosen ones. The call to the heart awakens dormant spiritual gifts. These gifts are guided by intuition and inner wisdom. Intuition is clarified through the purification process. Purification deepens our understanding of destiny and free will. Our choices lead us to service and selflessness, and service, guided by divine timing, fulfills our highest purpose. This is not a linear journey, but a spiral path of ever-deepening understanding and embodiment. You will revisit these secrets many times throughout your spiritual development, each time discovering new layers of meaning, new applications, new dimensions of truth. The question isn't whether you've been chosen. The divine call echoes in every human heart. The question is whether you'll choose to answer, whether you'll embrace the process of becoming who you were created to be, whether you'll align yourself with the divine purpose encoded in your spiritual DNA. Remember that you're not alone on this journey. The divine walks with you, guiding each step, supporting each challenge, celebrating each breakthrough. And you're surrounded by a community of fellow seekers, some ahead of you on the path, offering wisdom and encouragement, some beside you, sharing the journey, some behind you, looking to your example. If something in this message has stirred your soul, take a moment now to acknowledge it. Type "I accept my calling" in the comments below. This simple act of declaration can be a powerful step in aligning with your divine purpose. Know this with absolute certainty: you were not chosen by accident. You were chosen by divine design. Your gifts, your challenges, your very presence in this world are part of a greater purpose. As you embrace these 7 divine secrets, you'll find yourself moving from merely existing to truly living, from surviving to thriving, from wondering about your purpose to walking in it with confidence and joy. The world is waiting for your light. The time for hiding is over. The moment for emergence has come. Step fully into who you were created to be, a chosen one, divinely called, uniquely gifted, powerfully purposed for such a time as this. Until next time, stay blessed and continue shining your light.